Moving to Mexico is a big decision. That's why in this video, I want to help you with that decision by letting you know exactly how to move to Mexico on a budget. Here we go. Welcome back everyone to the Single Dad Nomad. If you don't know me, my name is Nicholas Demski, and on this channel, we talk about living better worldwide. That includes the gear, the income, and the inspiration you need to be able to live your best life wherever you are. In this video, we're talking about how to move to Mexico on a budget.
Keep every story of your days a mystery.
The visa-free entrance will have 6 months validity, 180 days. And it's really easy to renew by just going across the border and then coming back in. The fee for that entrance is $25, and it's sometimes just applied onto your airline fee. Otherwise, you can enter into Mexico on a temporary residency permit or a permanent residency permit. Each one of these are going to cost you a couple $100s at least, but you can stay for at least a year on these permits, and they're simple to renew. And of course, they give you all the benefits of residency in Mexico. So your visa options and entry fees into Mexico are going to cost you anywhere from about $25 to several $100s. And if you add on an agent to help you with the temporary residency or the permanent residency, that's going to be another couple $100s.
Bring on the fire, bring on the rain.
The next thing that you have to consider when moving to Mexico on a budget is the cost of the flights. Now, actually, it's really easy to fly to Mexico from the United States for low cost. There are plenty of airlines that do it for around $100, sometimes even less, depending on where you're flying from. If you're going to budget for your bags as well, then you might end up spending $150 or $200 tops for a flight to Mexico. Whenever you land in a new country, you want to make sure that you have the proper communication line set up. That's why you have to get a SIM card when you get to Mexico. Now, you can buy one in the airport, but the costs there are going to rake you over the coals. They're going to be roughly 2 to 10 times more expensive than what you can find them at a gas station, or what we call the OXXO. Inside the OXXO, it's going to be about 50 Mexican pesos to get a new SIM card. That's just a few dollars. And then you can get data in minutes in certain types of packages. And I've never paid more than about $25 a month for everything I need in Mexico. When you're moving to Mexico, you'll also have to consider that you're going to need to pay for transportation into the city and then also your first night's accommodation, wherever that may be. So for example, if you land at the airport in Mexico City, you have a few options to get into the center of the city. You can take the metro, which is less than $1. You can take the bus, which is just a few dollars, or you can take a taxi, which is going to be no more than about $10 or $15 to get wherever you're going. Add on your first night's hotel stay, and you can stay in a really nice hotel for about $30 or less, and that will include a pool and breakfast and all the amenities. I'll actually link you down to a few hotels in the description box to make it easy on you. So your transport to the city and your first night's hotel should be no more than about $45.
Morning comes when the nightfall goes.
The next morning after breakfast, you're going to have to take your transportation to your final destination, wherever that may be. And so the cost of getting there can vary wildly. It might be a few dollars in an Uber, it might be a few more dollars in a taxi, or if you were to hop on a cross-country bus, it could be around $20 for a multi-hour bus ride. So the transportation to your destination is going to be no more than about $20.
Bring on the fire, bring on the rain.
There are so many public transport options in Mexico that are well worth their costs. For example, they have a version of Uber there, and if you're in Puerto Vallarta, for example, you can get all the way across the town for about $2 to $3 using an Uber. So their Uber is much cheaper than what you'll find in the United States. There's also the busing system, which is really quite easy to use if you can read Spanish and you can change money with people. It's going to cost you anything from $1 or less just to get across the city. For $5, you're going to be able to take about an hour and a half bus ride to some other town. Moreover, there are taxis. They're ubiquitous, but they're fairly expensive compared to the Uber prices. All in all, if you really want to do it on a budget, I would say you could travel around wherever you're living in Mexico for less than $50 a month. But what about your place to live? One of the cheapest places I found to live in Mexico was about 5,000 Mexican pesos. Right now, that is $225, and that was for a one-bedroom place up in the mountains with a sea view. Granted, it wasn't a very nice place, but for $225, what can you expect? I didn't end up living there. I actually found a two-bedroom casita for 7,500 Mexican pesos. That was more like $385, roughly around there. We were up on top of another casita, so we had a nice view of the Jungle Mountain. We had a hammock up there. and it was a comfortable, charming little Mexican house for well under $400 per month. I was cooking with propane. That cost me about $10 a month to fill up the tank, and I was using aircon from time to time, so it ended up costing me about $30 a month for electric. Now, I want to be cautious when I say that price because I've heard of other people paying hundreds of dollars for their electricity in Mexico, so just be careful with your electric consumption. So your accommodations for your first month could be less than $300. I would say budget about $400.
See the clouds and let us.
Speaking of my child, if you have one, you're going to want to know the schooling options. If you come in as a temporary resident or a permanent resident, it's really easy to get into the public schools. Those are completely free, so you won't even have to pay for your child's education. Just be aware that they may be only going to school from about 8 until 12:30 in the afternoon in some instances. I also found a lot of private-style Montessori schools or alternative education schools. Those went down to as low as about $200 per month. And I also found private international schools, and those went up to about $500 per month. So what you spend on education is going to depend on what you are looking for. Anywhere from $0 to $500 a month.
See the clouds and let 'em be. Keep every.
Next, let's talk about food. You can go to any kind of typical restaurant and get a meal for less than $5. If you go to a more local place that does like the tacos and the sandwiches, it's not going to be more than a few dollars for whatever you're eating. And you can find taco carts getting pushed around where I've seen tacos go for about 10 Mexican pesos, which right now is 45 cents, and you can just load them up with all the toppings and ingredients. It's awesome. Lastly, you can obviously go shopping in supermarkets, but the supermarkets there, like Walmart and Sam's Club, their prices are fairly similar to the United States, maybe slightly lower. What you really want to do is find the produce stands and the little mom and pop run shops, but even there you want to be kind of picky and choosy about it because some of them are going to have inflated prices and others can be a third of the cost, and they'll just be, a couple blocks away around a corner hidden or something like that. So at its cheapest, I was able to find a place where I was spending about $3 a day for all the fruit and vegetables that my daughter and I needed. So if you cooked every meal, you could probably spend as low as $200 a month for one person on food. If for every single meal you went out and got taco cart tacos or occasionally went to a restaurant, you could still spend less than $300 a month on food.
Sing out your wins and trials like a melody. Ride the.
But what if that food gets on your clothes and you get dirty? Well, you can just take it to the laundry. It's really easy there. It costs less than $1 to get a kilogram of clothes cleaned. I believe the highest that I saw was 17 Mexican pesos per kilogram, and it will be washed, dried, and folded for you. So if you're only doing laundry once a week, it can cost you no more than about $8 for an entire month of laundry.
Bring on the fire. Bring on the rain. Nothing.
If you're going to move to Mexico to live there on a budget, don't think that you want to save money by drinking the water down there. You can get really sick, so you have to buy fresh water to drink. Probably the easiest way to do that is just stop the water trucks when they're going down the road, and for 2 giant jugs of water, I forget exactly how many liters were in them, but it cost me 50 Mexican pesos for 2 huge jugs, and those usually last about 10 days for both. So refilling those 3 times for a month, it cost me about $5 a month to get fresh water. Lastly, you're going to have to pay your travel insurance. Now, if you get the temporary residency or the permanent residency, you don't necessarily have to have travel insurance because you can join either the public option in Mexico or you can get private insurance down there. But if you want to get travel insurance, I recommend either using Travelex or World Nomads. They're both quality. World Nomads is more expensive, has a little bit better reputation. It's an insurance company, so you're going to have to fight no matter what. But it's better to have the insurance than not have it. Travelex, I've seen it go for as low as about $15 per month. World Nomads can go to about $100 per month. We've got that sorted out. Let's go through the final tally of moving to Mexico on a budget. Your visa will be no less than $25. Your flights will be no less than about $150. Your phone and data for 1 month is going to be about $27. Transport from the airport to the city is going to be no more than $15. A hotel for 1 night is no more than about $30. Your next day transport to wherever you're going should be no more than about $20. Your monthly transport options are going to be no more than about $50. You You can easily find accommodations for $300 or less. If you have a child, your schooling will be about $200 on average. A food budget of about $250 for 1 month is ideal. You could get away with laundry for $8 a month or less. Your water shouldn't cost you any more than $5. And your travel insurance on a budget should be about 15 bucks. Moving to Mexico is a big decision. That's why I want you to check out this video right here to learn more about why I was glad I moved to Mexico, and check out this video right here to learn more about my regrets about moving to Mexico. Don't forget to subscribe before you go, and I will see you next time. Peace.